It's your boy Brian Cotton. Let's keep pounding on this Tuesday. I just want to get on here real quick. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to make a video the rest of the week, so I'll go ahead and get up on here real quick, talk about my thoughts, predictions, preview for this game against the Lions this week. The Lions, they looked good last night. Matthew Stafford, he looked very, he made some improvisational plays last night. It was fun to watch Matthew Stafford play last night, and of course watch Calvin Johnson do his thing. I don't really like Ndamukong Suh. I think he's dirty. Some of the stuff he does is, I just don't agree with as a football fan. But I don't have anything but respect for a guy like Calvin Johnson. And Matthew Stafford, when he's hot, he can. He could take over a game like he did. They took over that first half before you could blink an eye. It's 14-0, it seemed like. So, the Panthers, they got a tough task ahead of them this week. One of the interesting things, though, is, talking about Kelvin Benjamin, everybody's talking about, do the Panthers have an answer for Kelvin Benjamin? I'll tell you first off, the answer is no. They do not have an answer for Kelvin Benjamin. No team in this league has an answer against Kelvin Benjamin. You just got to try to contain him and not let him go off. But he's going to get his place. He's going to make his yards because he's just, he's by far the best wide receiver in the NFL. I really don't even think it's a close second with that. But, having said that, nobody's talking about the Panthers offense. Now, I know they only scored 20 points, but, this ain't a team that's going to go out there and try to run up the score. They're going to play ball control. They're going to run the ball. Make it to where it's third and manageable, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 4. And then, you make it to where you can run for the first down, pass for the first down. And they want to control the clock. And that's what they're going to try to do against Detroit. But, everybody's talking about does Carolina have an answer for Calvin Johnson? But nobody's asking on the other side, do the damn Lions have an answer for Kelvin Benjamin? Now, that's not me saying that I think that Kelvin Benjamin is on the same level as a Calvin Johnson. By no means am I saying that. But when you talk about the Lions, they've got a good front four. Their defensive line is pretty stout. It's going to be hard for Carolina to run the ball on them. And that's going to be key for the Lions is to stop that running game. Turn the Panthers one-dimensional to where they have to try and throw. And the Panthers, they've got some solid veterans, and of course Kelvin Benjamin at wide receiver, and then Greg Olsen can make plays from the tight end position. But the Carolina Panthers, they don't want to be in a game where they have to pass more than 25, 30 times, where they don't have a running game. So that's going to be key. Nick Fairley and Ndamukong Suh, they're good against the run. It's hard to get space up the middle against them. So that's going to be key. But if the Panthers, they don't have to have a dominant running game. But if they're in 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 4, the Lions do not have an answer for Kelvin Benjamin because their weakness on that defense is their back seven, specifically their secondary. They're thin at secondary. They don't have a guy on their secondary, much like the Panthers don't have anybody that can cover Calvin Johnson. And when it's 3rd and 5, 3rd and 4, Carolina's gonna, they're gonna look to Kelvin Benjamin, and it's gonna be up to the Lions to try and stop him with that big frame. It's gonna be different because Calvin Johnson, he's looking for the big play. He's looking for the highlight reel, game-changing play. Kelvin Benjamin's gonna be more of a possession receiver. He doesn't have the speed of a Calvin Johnson, but Kelvin Benjamin, he's big. He's a lot like Muhsin Muhammad in a lot of ways, and I think he'll probably end up being better than Muhsin Muhammad. But he's a big possession receiver. When it's 3rd and short, the Lions. That's going to be the key. Is how do the Lions and even Greg Olsen. The Lions linebackers. They're nothing to write home about. So that's going to be the key for me. Is the Panthers on defense? They got to get after Matthew Stafford. I think they can stop the Lions running game. That Panthers had the best front seven in the NFL. They make teams one-dimensional. I think they'll stop that running game. Reggie Bush, he might have a couple of big plays, but Doug Martin, 9 yards rushing. So, I think the Panthers, I think they'll stop that running game, make Detroit one-dimensional, and put it on their front seven to get pressure on Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford, if he's got time to throw, it's game over. The thing that I've been struggling with is watching that. I mean, the Lions, they look dominant. They look like they could challenge in the NFC. But at the same time, they were playing the Giants. How good or bad are the Giants? So, it'll be a test for both of these teams because, a lot of people made out Tampa Bay to be this, this Cinderella team. I'm not buying it. I'm still not buying it. Tampa Bay is not going to be a playoff team this year. So the Panthers and the Lions beat non-playoff teams. The Lions did it in a little bit more impressive fashion when you look at the stats, the score, and all that. But Carolina's win was just as impressive because they didn't have Cam Newton. They stuck Derek Anderson, who hadn't started a game in almost 4 seasons, and they still came away with that win. So my prediction for the game, the Lions, I mean, it's going to be a tough game. The Panthers are going to want to keep the game low scoring. I think they will. I think that front seven, once again, is going to keep them in the game. And like I said in my last video, I think Cam Newton is going to go off on the Lions. And that's not saying I think the Lions are bad. That's just I think that with what happened last week, watching his buddy Derek Anderson lead this team to a win, he wants to prove that he's the franchise quarterback, and he wants that big contract. His rookie game, his first game, he went for over 400 yards. I don't necessarily think he'll do that here, but I'm predicting a big game for Cam Newton. He might come out rusty at first, I don't know, but he's such a competitor, and I think that he's just going to want to come out there, silence any doubt from anybody that Derek Anderson should be the starting quarterback on this team, and that's not That's not Cam Newton, not thinking anything of Derek Anderson. That's just Cam Newton. He's a competitor. So, I think score. I'm gonna go with the Panthers. 24, Lions 20. 24-20 Panthers. It's going to be that game. Carolina, they're going to control the clock. Keep Matthew Stafford and Calvin Johnson off the field. Calvin Johnson's going to have at least one big potential game-breaking play in this game. It's just going to be about Carolina containing it and not letting one play turn into 2 or 3 plays. So, I think the Panthers will get it done 24-20. Nothing but respect for the Lions. I'm not a trash talker. I talked a little bit of trash about the Buccaneers, but I don't talk trash before games. Just because, I want to enjoy when I watch the game, I want to just have fun and enjoy watching it and not have to worry about eating my words. I want to make sure that I always got the last laugh. I'll talk trash after a game if the other team's fans, like the Buccaneers fans, were talking all this trash the whole offseason, especially this week, leading up to that game last week. So, I'm not a big trash talker. Nothing but respect for the Lions. And this is where, I think that winning that game with Derek Anderson is huge because now Carolina, obviously you want to go out there and win every game. It's the home opener. You want to go out there and give your fans a win for the first home game of the season. But you don't necessarily have to win this game now. Starting out 1-0 is huge. Takes a little bit of pressure off because, if you win, you're 2-0. If you lose, you're 1-1. I think that, you got the Steelers at home again next week, so next Sunday night. So, winning that game was huge. Keep pounding. I think the Panthers will win this game. Wouldn't be a bit surprised if the Lions pull it out. But I'm going to go with the good guys on this one. It's your boy Brian Cotton. Keep pounding. I might try and make a video before the game. If not, you'll definitely see my review of the game. So just y'all have a good week. Enjoy this win. It feels good to go into the second game 1-0. Hasn't happened in a long time. So y'all just have a good night, and I'll see y'all later.